Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone who do rule and teach well. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Barakatham. Peace and blessing salutations as always to you, sincere Aki and Wa'akwath, listening, learning, keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord Yahushai, occupying these prophecies and faith until the Lord will all fulfill and we are redeemed. So this is another news and prophecy through the Spirit going into world events, showing you that what is written of in the testimony of the law and the prophets is indeed faithful and true. These things are happening in our time now, and that we're very close to the end. And that for you Israelites, which would be you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans out there, that this is the time for you to repent, return to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, so that you may be kept in this time of evil that's coming upon the earth. And see, what you have going on is a very profound phenomenon in which you have more and more people that are coming online that are going into the very things that the prophets have been going into for decades, right? The elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, all right, have been warning you even before, these type of things became popular, that destruction was coming ultimately, that the mark of the beast one day would be implemented, that famine would come, pretty much everything that is outlined in biblical prophecy, that these things will become prominent at one day in time. And we're in that time now, to where, as it is written, that now they will all begin to see together. And we'll get that in 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 20. We can start it off right there. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Because the visions are now becoming plain. All right, and these visions have been made plain through the servants, the prophets, preaching the word. All right. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, and we'll start at 18. And it said, Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition, or a intense, questioning or interrogation. That's what inquisition goes into, of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Sion, being the Israelites, shall be fulfilled, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens, the prophecies. All right, the books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. You see that? So this world that is passing away, that is vanishing away, the tokens, the understanding of the prophecies, what was prophesied aforetime, these things are now starting to become common knowledge. Within this world now, the talking point of the MOTB and what it is has now become common conversation. And why is that? Because ultimately it's the Spirit of the Lord that is being poured out upon all flesh, as it was prophesied in the book of Joel, all right, that the Lord will pour out His Spirit upon all flesh in the last days, all right? So you have the men of the Lord, the prophets, that have been telling you these things, but now you also have other witnesses, okay, these different prepper channels, these different, financial prognosticators, people that are in the government that were on the inside of these certain organizations that are responsible for bringing about this new world that's being formed here. Everybody is pretty much coming out and telling you what it is. All right, so this is just confirmation for what we've been saying all along. All right, and that's why the scriptures say that when these things begin to come to pass, then you shall know that a prophet had been among you. All right, so this is the stage where we're at. And like I said, it's time for you Israelites to get right. It's time for you Israelites to repent, put off this world, and return to Yahweh Bashmel Shai, because that's the only thing that's going to save you from what's coming. All right, because individuals like this, they call themselves preppers, or being in preparedness, or whatever the case may be. But even individuals like this, when it really starts to go down, they're going to be afraid. They're going to be terrified. All right. And just like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. Okay. So you can prep all you want. You can, have your so-called foolproof plan. But when you're presented with the hell, when you're put in a position of difficulty, that's when you really gonna find out what you're made of. All right. So this video right here is from Full Spectrum Survival. He's a part of the prepper community, and they're about doing carnal preps. Gathering up food, learning how to fish and hunt, and clean, and build shelters. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's wicked or that's foolish to get into, but at the end of the day, they're relying on these certain things to be their end all be all to save them, which really that's all they have, because these are heathens. These are Edomites, all right, that are mainly into this. So they're not looking to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob for any type of salvation. They're really out there on their own. But we use their videos to show you sincere Aki and Wa'akwath that even they are going to come to a point of perplexity. All right, even they don't have the answers. All right, so red alert: looting starts. Walmart will go on lockdown. Are Americans starving? People are crazy. Okay, so the title alone, speaks for itself that we've been telling you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, famine is coming, mass violence, civil unrest, martial law, and ultimately mass death is coming upon the land of America, Babylon the Great, and ultimately throughout the whole world. Okay, and this is a signal of the end of this current age, of this eon, all right, which is currently ruled over by Esau, Edom, and his heathen vassals, all right. This is the time for them to go down. So this is why the world is as crazy as it is, and everything is going to hell, okay. So we know November 1st, SNAP benefits will not be going out. And as you'll see in this video, people are already on demon time. People are already on crash out time. And the looting has already started. Okay, people are already out there taking matters into their own hands of how they going to eat, So without further ado, just wanted to make that intro. Full Spectrum Survival. Check it out.
The scariest thing that I've seen over the course of the last 48 hours is people saying they don't care whether the EBT comes back on ever. They are going to go loot and steal and take it from you. They said that no matter whether their cards are full or empty, some sort of shift has taken place in the minds of people, and the people who will take the predators are now on the prowl. We're seeing this all across the country as people are warning, don't leave your cars unlocked. Don't put your groceries into your vehicle without being acutely aware of your surroundings. Don't leave your children in the basket. Make sure that you have an escape plan if things start to go south. They're warning all of the workers, the employees at places like Walmart, Target, Costco, everywhere else. You better not touch them or they'll attack. So let's go ahead and watch.
So you see that we're in a time of lawlessness, violence, and ultimately mass death is going to come from this. But the scriptures, tell you in 2 Timothy, 3rd chapter, right, that 2 Timothy's chapter 3 and verse 1, difficult times will come. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. from such turn away. And this describes the people of today's time to a T. And because people are this way, because people are only interested in looking out for themselves and what they can gain, and they're all about self glorification and vanity, this contributes to the dangerous times that we're in these last days, to where you just heard Brad say that whether the EBT card is full or empty, people gonna go out there and they gonna do what they do, and they not gonna give a damn who they gotta rob, who they gotta put down, who they have to take from in order to continue their quality of life. These are the days and times that we in, okay? And when you look at the videos, it's mainly Eve, Keisha, all right, the so-called black woman, Israelite woman. She the main one talking about what she gonna do when she get out there, all right? And you gotta keep in mind that these wild hood rat hyenas, they got sons that are in many cases worse than them, because they're men with testosterone with female bitch tendencies, all right? So they gonna have their sons, all right? You ain't gonna see Eve and Keisha. I mean, you might see them out there 1 and 2, but ultimately the woman knows, she ain't just about to go around strong arming nobody. Like, she ain't built like that. So she gonna have her sons. She gonna have whatever nigga that she dealing with. She gonna have them go out there, and they gonna be doing the taking. You see, these are YNs, Pookie, Ray Ray. They gonna be on go time, man. You see. So this is a time to be especially vigilant. Watch your surroundings, and don't trust nobody, man. All right. And also, you know what I'm saying, you want to make sure that you're being circumspect. Make sure that you watching everything, man. Wherever that you go, make sure that you're watching. And first and foremost, pray before you leave the house. Pray while you out, and when you get back home, pray as well. All right. These are the times that we enter where Yahweh Bashmel Shah got to be at the forefront. You got to have that hedge of protection around you, because you're going to be seeing a lot of people get taken advantage of in these times, man. Because why? They don't have the blood of the Lamb to cover them. And you have to understand as well, all that's coming down, this is the judgment of Yahweh Bashmel Shah, man, upon the wicked, upon the proud.
Some of this unfold.
I'm telling you, if you work at a grocery store, you didn't see, I'll pop. You didn't see. Because guess what? You'll clock out with seeing less. You'll have a swollen ass eye, and I'll take the charges. I know where I'm going. It's worth it.
What does that even mean? They know where they're going, and it's worth it. So, guys, just please be very, very careful. We know that this is not going to be good.
Have you ever wondered how buying Israeli goods helps Israel during turbulent times?
So some states are warning that food stamp benefits could get cut off to exist without mooching off the taxpayer, who are absolutely losing their minds and threatening to start looting stores if they can't get stuff for free.
Y'all better stay the fuck out of my... Who ain't getting that damn... I will my mother...
Now, of course, I have had a lot of people point out that the biggest voices are, of course, pushing a narrative. This gang culture, cartel culture, whatever it might be, a lot of the videos that you see are very narrative driven. But let me tell you, I have seen every single shade of this crazy world, every rainbow shade of this world out here saying they're going to go start looting. A mooch is a mooch, a taker is a taker, a predator is a predator. I don't care who or what you are. This is happening.
Wait. So, we got lots of people posting on social media that they're losing their SNAP benefits. Oh, they're losing their minds. However, they got the latest iPhone. They got their nails done, their hair done. They got a Louis Vuitton bag. They got money.
And I want to speak to that point as well, because, see, Esau, he's the mastermind behind this crash out culture that you about to see. All right, because he has Esau's pretty much made people so dependent upon the system to where they become entitled. They believe that they deserve to eat. They believe that they deserve to live in a, get a Section 8 voucher, that they deserve government benefits, that they should continue to live their quality of life no matter what. So the fact that people have now become entitled from living on these government benefits for so long, now that they about to lose it all, they about to lose it. You see? And again, these are some especially dangerous times because people are going to be willing to go where they were never willing to go before. People are going to be out here ready to, put something down. Okay, people going to be ready to go out here and completely throw their life away over some food. Throw their life away over having a roof over their head. Okay, and everybody out here is, strapped up, loaded, and ready to blow something down if they have to. You see? So America is pretty much just one big powder keg ready to explode. And this place don't have that much longer to go, man. And, speaking to the topic of the elites, this is what they want. Okay, because, from this, once all hell does start to break loose in these cities, and no doubt, Esau, he has his agents that he's going to send out into the midst of whatever's going on to increase the violence, to increase the need to bring in order. Okay, because that's how these devils work. This is Order Ab KO, classic playbook that these elite Edomites love to run. You understand? So there, Esau definitely gonna have his hand in it as well. But you really do have a lot of angry people out here that are ready to go. That are ready to take it there. Okay, you're gonna be seeing follow home. Many more follow home robberies. Many more people just get took for their groceries within the parking lot. All right, you're gonna be seeing a lot of shootings and fights happen within these within the parking lots of these supermarkets or whatever have you. Okay, so let's get 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. All right, because it tells you that a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. All right, because of great tribulation and the lack of bread. This is 2nd Ezra 15 in verse 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. And right now, on TikTok, on X, Twitter, you have videos out there of individuals saying that they gonna pull up at people's houses, all right, kick in doors, basically fulfilling this scripture right here, okay, where it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. So there's going to be no mercy, no type of love out here, no type of compassion. People not going to give a damn. All right, they're going to be out for self, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. All right, spoil means to take or to seize. Okay, so people that they got water or food or alcohol. All right, people gonna be going around and they gonna be spoiling, man. All right, they gonna be going around and they gonna be taking what people got because of the lack of bread. So for famine, for lack of food scarcity, all these things are coming because the farmers, they're going bankrupt every single day at very high numbers, which is also systematically been set up to continue to collapse this economy and ultimately the food supply. Because Esau understands, if you control the food, then you control the people. Just like how now he's cutting off the SNAP, people about to lose their damn mind. How much more when the supermarkets, when these fast food spots, when the farmers markets are all gone, there's no more food. How much more chaotic and dangerous of a society are we going to be in then, right? Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay, so because of the tribulation, the judgment that's coming upon the earth, people going to be out here just going crazy. You see? So, again, These are the things of which the prophets have been warning you of, and you seeing these things happen in real time. Okay, and they talking about people not going to receive SNAP benefits for November and possibly even December, going into 2026. So 2 months of no benefits going out is going to be crucial. But let's continue.
Food stamps. Ohio, you bet not. You bet not feed in that allegation. You better pay me my food stamps. I better get my food stamps. Commissary out, because I'm taking up the stove and taking everything.
Now, this woman actually goes as far as to threaten the President of the United States of America, basically telling people that to be entitled to your tax money, to make it so that they get, $2,000-$4,000 a month. They also get a cash allowance for their rent, so they don't have to work, but you have to work for them in some sort of reverse entitlement program that they think is okay. Everybody who is abusing this program needs to be kicked off of it. Every single person that is abusing the program needs to be off it. I don't care who or what.
I'm so sick and tired of y'all Trump haters out there. Y'all gonna keep lying on this bill, knowing damn well you didn't read none of that bill. You just repeated what they told you on CNN and MSDNC. But don't worry about it. I went and read it, and I'm gonna show you exactly what it says. Here are the work requirements straight from the big, beautiful bill for healthy poor people who can go to work. And it says so right here. If you want your Medicaid, the individual works not less than 80 hours, meaning you must put in 80 plus hours of work. You must put in 80 plus hours of community service. You must put in 80 plus hours of a work program. You must put in at least half a combination of any of these. So you can put in 20 hours here, 20 hours here, 20 hours, or taking it away from poor people. The individual has a monthly income that is not less than the applicable minimum wage.
Now, this is a strong voice out here saying that the bill says if you're of able body that can work, you need to get to work. And that's absolutely correct. One of the maybe gray areas that's a little bit concerning is the way that our corrupt system is set up. They want you to be zero working hours, and then they give you the most benefit. So as soon as we get somebody into work for 80 hours a month, their ability to go to the grocery store, which you and I know is completely corruptly overpriced through forced inflation and monopolized corporate profits, when they start working 80 hours a month, their allotment to continue to go to the grocery store does not affect that they are producing and providing now to the U.S. economy.
And see, all these things are the devices of the forward. You see, because look at what Esau has done. He's cut off the benefits. People losing their jobs to AI and robotics automation, which is a part of that fourth industrial revolution at an all-time high. So if the requirement is for you to work 80 hours a month or whatever to get these benefits, how are people going to be eligible to receive benefits if there are no jobs? How are people going to be able to receive these benefits if, because Trump has already announced mass layoffs for federal workers, all right, which a lot of our people are affected by that, as well as everybody else. So he's made it pretty much impossible with this big, beautiful bill, which, pretty much everything that we're going to go into in this news and prophecy today was in the big, beautiful bill, all right? BBB, so this has all been set up, orchestrated, because this is the collapse of America, Babylon the Great, and there is no coming back from this, man. All right, this is the end of this place, and it's going down fast. When you go here, the epic economists brace for a shortage of everything that will freak Americans out. So, people have lost hope. People don't know what to do. And hey man, very soon the streets of America will be looking just like this background here. Okay, this is going to be what it's going to look like soon, man. You know what I'm saying? When it's all said and done, this place going to be leveled out. But in the midst of these of the uncertainty. People are, online talking. All right, you have all these talking heads that are bringing out that pretty much destruction is coming. Okay, and let's go to Daniel. Let's go to Daniel 12. Okay, Daniel 12:1, the time of the end. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, Jacob's trouble, such as never was since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book, that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. This is the point here in verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. All right, and this goes to show you that Christianity was not the true understanding of the Bible. All right, especially that plantation Christianity, which was given to our people by our oppressors. Okay, that was not the true gospel, because as we're reading here, all right, it was prophesied that Daniel, that the words of the book, all right, the words of the prophecy, the testimony, should be sealed even to the time of the end, which is now. All right, so we didn't have the truth, the 16, 17, 18, 1900s, man. But the truth has came out now. All right, going way back to the 1960s, with Elder Albert Bivens and their students under them, leading up to Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Kabar, Ariam Lab, and so on and so forth, to the elders and apostles on down now. All right, this understanding is going throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, but as it is written as well, that the Lord saved the prophets for last. Okay, so the Lord raised up the prophets last, man, to bring in the end of this kingdom. Reading on, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And this really goes into the internet. Okay, because if you want to know anything now, what's the first thing people do? People pick up their phone, get on their computer, they go on Google and they type something in. And it's even more convenient now because you have an AI overview now on these platforms. So this is how knowledge is being greatly increased in the earth through the unicorn of the internet. Okay, this gospel, right, the truth that the Hebrew Israelites are pushing has gone throughout the four corners of the earth by way of what? Of the internet. Okay, so we're in a time where knowledge has been greatly increased, and this is why you see all these individuals now starting to pretty much proclaim the same thing. This is the Lord pouring out his spirit. All right, so even if you don't want to listen to us, they going to tell you as well. So there's no excuse as to why you should be ignorant in today's day and time of what's going on and what is to come. You have been warned. Brace for a shortage of everything that will freak Americans out. Epic economists. Let's get into it.
Look, we're heading towards something catastrophic. I'm not talking about regular inflation. I'm talking about economic collapse. I'm talking about widespread food shortages and potentially the next Great Depression. Millions of people are sensing this right now and preparing. Maybe that's you, or maybe that's not. But you've got to do something. The signs are everywhere. Are you going to wait until it's too late, or act while you still can? Let me show you what's happening. Right now, this first person I'm going to show you explains how the SNAP benefits pause triggers an economic cascade. This is the first domino falling.
If you are naive enough to think that the pause to SNAP benefits on November 1st isn't going to affect you because you don't receive food stamps, I want you to hear this. About 1 in 8 Americans receive SNAP benefits. In fact, in Oklahoma, where I live, that's 1 in 6 people. So about 600,000 people in my state alone, Oklahoma, receive SNAP benefits. About 1 in 4 children in the U.S. receive SNAP benefits. But you're not one of those people, so you don't care, but hang with me. When those benefits go away, just about $9 billion in grocery spending vanishes. So you've got to be thinking about not just the grocery stores being able to stay open and pay their employees, but you have to think about the entire supply chain, trucks on the road, people who provide food to these grocery stores. $9 billion. Every dollar spent in SNAP benefits adds about $1.50 to $1.80 to the economy. So cutting those benefits isn't saving that dollar, it's taking away that $1.50 to your local economy. But you don't receive SNAP benefits, you don't work for a grocery store, you don't drive a truck, you don't give a shit. But when all of those things happen, the only way to combat that is to drastically increase the price of groceries. Grocery prices are already up over 3% in 2025 alone, which is almost an entire percentage higher than the average increase in grocery prices over the last 20 years. I thought they were supposed to go down day one though. So even if SNAP benefits only pause for 1 month, which by the way would be detrimental to all the people I mentioned before that you don't give a shit about, it will cost the economy roughly $13 to $14 billion in profit. And you can expect your grocery prices in just that 1 month to go up at least 1%. And states will stand to lose about $300 to $500 million in sales tax revenue. So even if you do not receive SNAP benefits, you never have, you never will, you do not want these to be paused on November 1st.
$9 billion vanishing from the grocery economy overnight.
And see, this is a domino effect, all right? Because as you just heard us say, just because you don't receive the benefits, that don't mean it's not going to affect you, all right? Because the only reason why a lot of people are even able to buy as much products and grocery as they do is because they have EBT and SNAP. Now that that's being put to a halt, the economy is not going to be running as well as it once used to, because people are going to be buying much less. There's going to be much more crime, which they're going to use these events that are going to take place, such as looting and robbery and, people getting, put to death, to implement these new laws in which they're going to be able to, lock America down. All right. That's what's coming ultimately. You see, let's get second Peter, right? Because hey, we have a sure word of prophecy, man. All right, we don't need nobody to tell us, we don't need these people to tell us what's gonna happen, because we've been speaking of these things, So we just in a time now where everybody is now seeing what's going on. 2 Peter 1:19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. All right. And the scriptures also say in Revelation 19. Think about, Revelation 19:10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Hamashiach Yahushai. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahushai is the spirit of prophecy. Okay, and when you go to Matthew 24, our Lord Yahushai, whom the world called Christ, he prophesied that these very days would come, and that this is the beginning of sorrows. Right? Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. Because why? The prophecy must be fulfilled. All right, because whatever that the Lord says, it comes to pass. The Lord don't lie, and he don't change. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. See? So everybody's mourning, everybody's in a sorrowful state right now. And it's because this world is coming to an end. All right, plain and simple. All right, so shortages are coming of food. Oh, let me get 2 Ezra 6 as well. All right, because it tell you that the full storehouses, shall be found empty. Very soon, it's not going to be no food, man. All right, you ain't going to be able to go to the uh, the supermarket, Walmart, Kroger, Sam's Club, Costco. All these places are going to be barren. It ain't going to be nothing there, and that's going to cause people to get even more turned up in their pursuit to eat and live. You see, 2 Ezra 6 and verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. All right, the farms, the supermarkets, the gas stations, your local barbecue spot. All these places are gonna be empty, man. It's gonna appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, so we in a time now, it ain't about to be too friendly out here, man. We in a time now where your closest homie from the sandbox, he gonna be looking at what you got, all right? And he gonna be plotting, and he gonna be looking to do you in to spoil you. All right, that's the time that we in, man. The scriptures also speak about a time of betrayal, where many shall, be offended and rise up against one another. All right, we had read in 2 Ezra 15, it says in 2 Ezra 15 that there shall be sedition among men and invading one another with swords in their hands. All right, so this is the time that we in, to where these things are coming forth. These prophecies are happening at a very fast rate. That's because the Lord, he is shortening the days for the sake of the elect. So these things are happening fast. Okay, going here. San Francisco overtakes India as world's filthiest slum, as human poop floods the streets. And see, this is the continued degradation of Babylon the Great. This was once the glory of kingdoms, that golden cup that was in the Lord's hand. Okay, let's get that in Jeremiah 51. Okay, Jeremiah 51. And let's start at verse 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon. Okay, which America is known as Babylon the Great within the scriptures. This is Babylon, okay, the mother of all harlots. And deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. And that's what's coming down upon Babylon the Great, vengeance and recompense. Okay, for the evil that has been done to the Lord's people, which are, once again, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, what has been done to our people, the Lord is now bringing judgment to this land for what has been done. All right, verse 7, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. See, so this place was once the glory of all the kingdoms. Everybody wanted to come here to build themselves up, to get themselves a new start in life. The proverbial American dream, right? This is where you come to become rich and to set yourself up and your children to have a bright future. Okay, it had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, going into her philosophies or wicked lifestyle, all the perverseness that America promotes. The nations have become drunk off of that. Therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. And this is happening right now, to where you have many Americans that are leaving America. That's the so-called new American dream, is to leave. You see, you have a lot of heathens that are leaving and going back home because they see there's no future here. They can't make it like how they used to. All right, the leadership here has become incompetent, and ultimately it's more of a burden to be here than it is a benefit. So people are fleeing, they're leaving out of America and they're going back to their original lands, okay? Or if you were born in America, then you're looking to relocate somewhere else where life may be more enjoyable, all right? That's what's going on in today's time, man. So again, these scriptures are being fulfilled. Let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. You see? So the fact that this place is being broken down, this is judgment upon Babylon the Great. Because San Francisco used to be one of the cleanest cities in America. All right? Used to be the tech hub of the world. You know what I'm saying? You got Silicon Valley and all of that. But in San Francisco now was pretty much, they saying that it's worse than India. Okay? So this is soon going to become the norm across all of Babylon the Great. But you already see, because the West Coast is horrible, right? Same thing out there in LA, trash in the streets, just, mad homeless people, all of that, man. The West Coast is a complete mess. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, this is soon to come to all of Babylon, all right? San Francisco has officially overtaken India as one of the world's filthiest slums, as the city struggles to cope with an ongoing onslaught of human excrement flooding the streets. The poop epidemic is getting so bad that the city's paper of record, the San Francisco Chronicle, is having to comb through reams of human excrement data to make its point. The amount of feces, graffiti, and illegal trash dumping on San Francisco sidewalks slightly increased over the last year, according to a recently released city report. And that's because you have so many homeless people out there. They don't have nowhere to go. They don't got nowhere to go to the bathroom, so they do it where they sleep. All right? Some neighborhoods reported a slight increase in graffiti, feces, and large items dumped between July 24 and to July 25. Officials said in an annual report published Monday by the Controller's Office, the report evaluated the cleanliness and condition of city streets and sidewalks by counting the sightings of sidewalk litter, street litter, large dump items, graffiti, and human or animal feces. All right, so it's getting bad out here in America, Babylon the Great. Let's get another scripture as well. Isaiah 24. The city of confusion is breaking down. Isaiah 24. And we'll start at verse 8. The mirth. Matter of fact, let's get that in the NLT. Let's read it. Isaiah 24 in verse 8 in the NLT. The cheerful sound of tambourines is stilled. The happy cries of celebration are heard no more. The melodious chords of the harp are silent. Gone are the joys of wine and song. Alcoholic drink turns bitter in the mouth. The city rides in chaos. Every home is locked to keep out intruders. Mobs gather in the streets, crying out for wine. Joy has turned to gloom. Gladness has been banished from the land. The city is left in ruins, its gates battered down. Throughout the earth, the story is the same. Only a remnant is left, like the stray olives left on the tree, or the few grapes left on the vine after the harvest. You see? So it's nothing but utter chaos, mourning. As we just read in Matthew 24, the beginning of sorrows, man. All these things entail the things that the Lord told us we should look out for that would happen in these last days, and it's being fulfilled. Call Lord Yahweh Bashmel Shai. Okay? Croatia reintroduces mandatory military conscription after 17 years. See? So we're in a time, definitely, where war is the theme. Okay, war is taking over the earth, man. Okay, when you get Ecclesiastes, let's get that in the KJV. Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. It's like it. Okay, yeah, here we go. A time for everything, right? To everything, there is a season, in a time to every purpose under the heaven. Getting straight to the point in verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And guess what? We're in a time of war. Okay, which we've been showing you through the Spirit that all these nations, especially when you look to Europe and the so-called Middle East and even America, man, everybody's preparing for war. So Croatia reintroduces mandatory military conscription or draft after 17 years. And this is basically because Europe is on edge of going to war with Russia. Okay, because America sent them Tomahawk missiles over to Ukraine. So now they know at any moment that full-scale war is going to break out. So they're readying their armies. They're preparing themselves for this Russian threat to come in. Croatian lawmakers have voted to reintroduce mandatory military service to boost the Balkan nation's defense in response to rising global tension and conflicts, including Russia's war in Ukraine. The parliament in the capital, Zagreb, approved an amendment to the law enacting the reinstatement by a large majority on Friday. And see, these conscriptions and draft, I think Russia, about a month ago, they put out a conscription for a fall conscription for, I think, 130,000 soldiers to go into Ukraine. You see? So troops are being moved, Now you got aircraft that's being sent to the so-called Middle East, you know what I'm saying, with the whole Gaza thing, You got air activity happening over Poland with NATO. So you have a lot going on. You see? You got America going to war with Venezuela now. They got ships out there in the Caribbean. So we're in that time of war. And guess what? War drafts are also coming to America. They already put the order out a few years ago that if you, I think 18 to 27, that you're automatically registered if a conscription should come about, which it will. All right, that you will be the first one to be drafted and put on the front lines. Okay. And I believe that's part of the reason why they got National Guard in these cities, man, because once they give the order, once all hell breaks loose and, they declare that military draft, they already know it's going to be protests and uprisings behind that. So, these things are set up in place to keep order and to carry out the agenda of the elites, all right? Transition to here. Keir Starmer, citizens who reject digital ID must pay £85 every time they're asked to prove identity. So what is this? All right, we know about a month and some change ago, this guy right here, Keir Starmer, which is the PM of the UK, that he made an announcement saying that you won't be able to work in the UK unless you have digital ID. And as we speak right now, you have mass protests in the UK against this very measure. So he's doubled down on it pretty much and came out and has declared that if you reject the digital ID, that you're going to have to pay £85 every time you're asked to prove your identity. So these devils are making it hard for you. And this is what we told you that they would do, man, through the Spirit. That anybody that don't want to opt into the system, that they would basically make it so hard for you to live life without it, that you'll be left with pretty much no other choice but to opt in. Okay, and this is what they're doing. Now they're saying that you're going to have to pay money just to prove who you are. All right? So we here, all right, to where this is gradualism. These devils are gradually inching towards the ultimate agenda of implementing the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast according to Revelation 13 and 16 on down, that you will not be able to buy and sell unless you have that implantable device that will go underneath the skin in your right hand, left hand, or in your brain. Okay, that's that Neuralink, you know what I'm saying, and many other manufacturers that are working on brain chip technology. Okay, that's what these things are all leading to. This is not the mark itself, but it's a precursor to it. All right. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has moved from assurances of voluntary digital identity to a regime of mandatory digital compliance. And the consequences for resisting may soon include crippling fees. Earlier this year, the government announced controversial plans for a nationwide digital ID scheme. According to a press release, the digital ID, quote, will cut paperwork, save time, and ensure everyone can access the services they are entitled to. And that's that theme of convenience that they keep throwing out there. Okay, just like here in America, back in May, they required now, if you want to board an airplane, that you now must have a real ID. You see, so you have to have a real ID now to board a airplane. And if you don't have it, they basically make it so tedious for you just to get on the flight that it's like, I'm gonna just go ahead and get the real ID because it's an inconvenience. All right, it takes a lot of time. You got to call people and you got to wait and all, you know. So majority of people don't want to deal with that. So if they say that, okay, if me getting the real ID is the easier way to where I can just get to do what I want to do, then so be it. Okay, so a lot of this is being pushed out there as a convenience and a peace and safety measure. All right, but really, it's all a snare to pretty much deceive you and overtake you, you know. And what is that? That's coming to my mind. I think that's in Cyrac. Never trust thine enemy. Let's get that real quick. Salakia. Yeah, let's go to Cyrac 12. Yeah, Cyrac 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. And that's Esau Edom. Okay? Never trust this man. You know, it don't matter how sweet and how nice and how kind he may seem to be. He's always looking for a way to get a one-up on you so he can take you down. Because that's how the devil operates, man. Because he goes about it by cunning craftiness, by deceit. All right? And when you go, yeah, that's what I wanted right here. Yeah, 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. You see that? If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, oh, just take the digital ID. It's much more convenient. You don't have to go through the paperwork. You don't have to, call anybody. You ain't got to check in. You can just, scan your hand, just present your digital ID. And it's a quick and easy process, right? Though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. So he's pretending to help you while at the same time plotting on how to destroy you, because this is a snare. All right, again, this is gradual. This is gradualism that's taking place here. They're going to implement the digital ID before they roll out the chip. Okay, and guess what? Just like how Keir Starmer told you, if you don't have a digital ID, you won't be able to work. The next step is if you don't have this implantable device, you won't be able to buy and sell, which fulfills Revelation 13 and 16 on down. This is what the scriptures is going into. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Okay, so that's what these devils do. All right. On October 23rd, 25, Starmer told the public, for people who simply don't want it, well, they don't need it, apart from the right to work. See? In other words, no obligation for everyday life unless you want to make money and participate in society. So if you don't get down with the program, they're going to cut you off from their society. And this is why they're taking the jobs away. This is why they're taking away the social benefits, They're taking away the infrastructure and things of that nature because they're pushing the people into a corner to where they're going to be left with no other choice but to take the devil's solution, to get on his program and have some type of comfort, peace, and safety. But the scriptures say what? When they shall say peace and safety, then shall come sudden destruction, man. So this is why we tell you Israelites out there, do not take the mark. And we're telling you what it is, okay? Because when it's presented, things are gonna go super fast. All right. Once that thing is rolled out, that's pretty much the end right there. World War III is gonna go nuclear. Yahweh shall gonna return, deliver the elect, and that's gonna be the end of it. All right. And all those that took the mark, Revelation 14, tell you what's gonna happen. That you're gonna suffer a grievous sore. A lot of people's gonna drop dead from taking it, man. And you gotta be a damn fool to take that mark, because what's the sense of siding with the devil, siding with Esau, taking his solution and being able to eat for maybe a month or two? Okay, 3 months at best. You see what I'm saying? You're only going to be somewhat comfortable for a short amount of time, but very soon destruction is going to come to where you're going to be taken in it. So it's better to suffer for righteousness' sake, and that's why you got to be built up in the spirit to deal with what's coming. Some of us may have to go through this, some of us may not, but Revelation 3 and 10 tell you that this is going to be a temptation that's going to come upon all the world. You see? So this is going to be a worldwide temptation. Everybody's going to be presented with this thing. And if you take it, well, you failed the test, and the Lord going to destroy you. You know what I'm saying? Pretty point blank period. All right, so they telling you straight up, no obligation for everyday life unless you want to make money and participate in society. So notice how he said, unless you want to make money, right? Right, as it says in Revelation 13, that none might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. Okay, so this entails what? Having a job. Okay, running a business. You know, spending money to participate in society. This is, he's literally telling you right here where all this is going. Okay, they're gonna cut you off from society unless you opt into their beast system. You see, so these visions, man, are being made super clear. There's no way that you can't see it. We here. Check this out. New digital public infrastructure program from World Bank aims for inclusivity. Okay, so again, this is coming upon all the world, and just like now, Trump is pretty much giving Javier Milei, the prime minister of Argentina, he has now doubled the money that they gave, because I think at first it was 200 billion, now it's 400 after he took a visit to Israel. Okay, which Javier Milei, he's a small hat. All right, so there's no surprise there. But after he took that visit to Israel, America, Trump has now doubled the payment to Javier Milei for $400 billion. Okay, and that's really for the infrastructure it goes into this right here. Okay, to build up the public infrastructure, this digital infrastructure out there in Argentina. Okay, because all these South American nations as well that they've infiltrated, they want them to be on the board with this new digital wave as well. All right, so we'll just read a short portion of this. The World Bank has released its annual report on the Identification for Development Initiative, marking 10 years of the program. In tandem, it celebrates 5 years of the digital government to person payments through ID4D and G2PX. The World Bank has helped more than 80 countries strengthen ID in civil registration systems or build new digital ID functionality. See this? You can't make this up. More than 80 countries. So this digital fourth industrial revolution is coming upon all the world, and so will the mark. In more than 40 countries, digitalize G2P payments in a way that provides more choice and convenience. See? So this is all about convenience and seemingly having more choice, more freedom, as they would say, for recipients, says the report. The document covers topics ranging from stateless individuals to digital literacy to verifiable credentials and digital wallets. But according to some industry observers, the most significant finding is that the world is moving past foundational projects and identity in digital payments to embrace digital public infrastructure, DPI, at large. And this is all a part of becoming a global citizen, okay, of every person on the earth having a digital ID, and them eliminating nationalism, them eliminating any sovereignty that a nation might have, and as Klaus Schwab said, to narrow or eliminate the gap between the rich and the poor. They want everybody except the elites to be on the same level, which is why they have now completely eradicated the middle class. All right, now it's either you rich or you poor. All right, middle class is pretty much done. And when you go here, all right, Global Citizen Festival 2025, record-breaking 4.3 million actions to protect the Amazon, secure clean energy for homes in Africa, and support children's education worldwide. And this is a part of the Gates Foundation. Okay, BG is involved in this. Right. Let me see. What's at stake? Global Citizen is a movement of people dedicated to eradicating extreme poverty, which the elites have created extreme poverty. All right, because they suck, the resources out from people's lands and they ration it to them, and they leave them with nothing. Okay, while the elites benefit. All right. The 2025 Global Citizen Festival campaign, on the heels of Global Citizen Now, impact sessions prioritize 3 policy campaigns to restore the Amazon, scale clean energy in Africa, and support children worldwide. Yeah, right. All right. That's a bunch of bullshit right there. But anyway, reading on. Let me see. There's a particular point I wanted to get. They talking about the Amazon, which again, all this is bullshit because they talking about rebuilding the Amazon when they continue to cut down the trees in the Amazon at an alarming rate, which the Amazon rainforest, they say, is pretty much the lungs of the earth. Okay, so if you're looking to deplete the Amazon, then you can go and fuck up the whole earth, which is what these Edomites want to do. Okay. Yeah, Salaki, I want to get one particular point out of here. Yeah, so what's happening in, all these different countries, G20 summit. Yeah, here we go. Okay, Global Citizen Now. The Global Citizen Festival is strategically timed to coincide with United Nations General Assembly Week, the foremost global convening of world leaders. By aligning with major summits such as UNGA and the G20, Global Citizen ensures that the voices of the world's most vulnerable and underrepresented populations remain firmly on the global agenda. Now, do you really believe, that when they have these general assemblies and these G20 summits, all right, they don't have the common citizen in these meetings to speak on what the people really want? Okay, you have the heads of these governments that are going to these meetings and they speaking for you, but they're not pushing your interest. They're pushing the interest of the elite, of their elite handlers, man. That's what they pushing. They're pushing digital IDs. They're pushing the mark of the beast. They're pushing mass depopulation. You see, they're pushing societal chaos. Okay, how to come up with new ways to destroy people. That's what they pushing in these meetings. In these meetings that they have, you're not invited, and you never will be invited because it ain't about you. It's about them and what they want. See, as you read in Sirach, the 12th chapter, though he pretend to help thee, he will undermine thee. So that's how these devils operate. They always put we're here to help, we're here to save humanity, we're here to do this and put money and fund it all. When you dealing with the devil, man. Okay, so you can't trust a word that come out these devils' mouth because they're all about lies and deceit to forward their wicked, unrighteous agenda and their decrees that they want to impose upon you. Because meanwhile, they saying all of this, the global citizen, which is supposed to be a benefit for the common person, but worldwide they're pushing this digital ID. All right. They're pushing microchips and AI and robotics and all this stuff. Is that what the average person wants? No, but it's being pushed anyway. So that right there should show you what this is really all about. All right. Yeah, this right here, which this goes into the draconian measures and decrees that are coming down the pipe. All right. Also showing you that this word is soon about to be cut off, man. You know, this ministry about to come to an end real soon. So in Canada, all right in America's backyard, the government to begin arresting citizens who post hateful content on social media. And this is a bill that was recently passed out there. I got the overview right here. The Canadian government is set to implement measures that could lead to the arrest of citizens who post content on social media deemed quote unquote hateful under the new bill C9, the Combating Hate Act. And once again, this is a Trojan horse, okay? It's set up to, we need to protect people from saying hate online. But I thought people had freedom of speech, all right? Apparently not. The Canadian government, through Justice Minister Sean Fraser, has announced plans to enforce Bill C9, which targets the willful promotion of hatred online, which that's a very, broad term right there, all right? And they do it like that on purpose because they don't want to be specific, because they're going to tell you what hate speech is. All right. The legislation aims to apply the same standards for hate speech online as those in physical communities. The bill was introduced in the House of Commons on September 19th and has sparked significant debate regarding its implications for free speech and civil liberties. Right? Definition of hate speech. The bill focuses on content that is considered to promote hatred against individuals or groups. This includes the use of hate symbols and actions that intimidate or block access to places of worship or community centers. All right, and this is more of those Isaiah 10:1. All right, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, man. But this is Esau. This is the devil. Okay, so let's read a little bit of this. The Canadian government has announced plans to begin arresting citizens who post material on social media deemed offensive by the government. Recently asked about Bill C9, the Combating Hate Act, Justice Minister Sean Fraser said the bill would apply to certain online content that involves the willful promotion of hatred. Generally speaking, the law will apply equally online as it does in real communities. So the real target of who they want to get with, these bills they putting down are the Hebrew Israelites. Okay? Because they say that what we proclaim is hate speech. All right? Speaking against Esau's government, telling him that he's going to go in slavery, telling him that he's going to pay for all his crimes that he's done to us, and for offending greatly against the Lord's creation. Everything that he's done, he going to have to pay for. Esau don't like that. So when you read in Wisdom of Solomon, let's get that. All right, when you read in Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, it tells you that these devils would make the law of justice their strength. All right, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. Right, you know what I'm saying? So the context of this chapter is basically the wicked, okay, which is Esau, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. All right. Let me find that real quick. Yeah, here we go. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. And we'll start at verse 8. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion, and our lot is this. And Trump, he pretty much recognized that very scripture right there when a reporter asked him, do you think that you'll get into heaven or something like that? And he said, well, I don't think there's anything that can get me into heaven. And then he said, I think this is my heaven right now, which he's exactly correct. Okay, this world, this is Esau's blessing. He's in his blessing right now. The so-called white man, this is his heaven. Okay, and then simultaneously, this is our hell. Okay, that's why the scripture says here, remember, when you read up in verse 1, for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither Was there any man known to have returned from the grave? These are the Edomites, the ungodly, all right, the wicked, reasoning with themselves in their spirit. Okay, this is what they're saying, right? For this is our portion and our lot is this. This is our blessing right now. So let us live it up, enjoy life to the fullest, all right? Use the creatures as in their youth, just pretty much destroy everything. You know what I mean? Verse 9, Salaki, verse 10, let us oppress the poor righteous man, which are the Israelites. Okay, let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. So when these devils want to implement their wickedness, they always go to do it by laws, because implementing a law, that's an absolute thing. That's something that you can't argue with, really, because it's very black and white and it's cut and dry. But even within Esau's laws, he leaves a lot of gray areas. You know what I'm saying? Esau leaves a lot of things to be left up to interpretation. Okay, and that's why with this bill right here, pretty much goes into what they deem is hate speech, not what actual hate speech is. Okay, because you should be allowed to say what you want to say, but if you're going to act on these things, then that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? But they're actively taking away freedom of speech. Trump told you that. The freedom of speech is being taken away. So we're coming into some very dystopian, dark, times, man. Okay, and a lot of it is because of what these devils, everything's being exposed. This whole CK assassination, the Epstein list, and everything that these devils were involved in, it's all coming out. You know what I'm saying? So they gotta silence people, man. All right. As reported by LifeSite News, Bill C9 has been blasted by constitutional experts as allowing empowered police and the government to go after those it deems have violated a person's feelings in a hateful way. Oh, you hurt a person's feelings, man. What type of bullshit is that, man? You hurt somebody's feelings, so now you're offending against the law. And that's really Esau ass, man. That's Esau bitch ass, all right? Because he kept, Esau being exposed at an all-time high, and it's hurting his feelings. So now he's gonna pass a law and say, you can't talk about me, I'll arrest you. That's what Esau doing, man. All right, this is the devil. He can't take criticism, and then you wonder where Eve, get that lack of accountability bullshit from. You get it from your daddy Esau. All right. Oh, blah. Yeah, you pretty much read all of this, but you can see where this is all going. All right, to where they really about to crack down. It's about to be Amos 8 in verse 11. A famine of hearing the word, and when these things come to pass, the time is going to come where people are going to seek for the prophets, and there's going to be no remedy. All right, the Lord is going to allow the enemy to come in like a flood, as it says in Isaiah the 59th chapter. You see? So, if we can get some, see what's going on. God damn. Yeah, so y'all see what that say right there, Wikipedia staff rush to save MAP's flag-waving pedo who pulled gun and threatened suicide on stage. And there's a lot of madness that's going on within America, man. This place is a madhouse. All right. Okay, yeah, we got that. Croatia brings back mandatory military conscription. Steve Bannon calls for a Christian state of Jerusalem. A 3-state solution is necessary to end the war in Gaza. Which, man, them small hats over there, all they got coming is destruction, and there won't be no solution. Germany officially designates Antifa a domestic T group, and Trump did the same thing a few weeks ago. All right, so freedom of speech is being taken away. You can't freely assemble, you can't protest, you can't do none of that. All right, these devils don't want you to question anything. They don't want you to expose them. They just want you to shut your ass up and take what they giving you. You know what I'm saying? Steve Bannon, Trump will be president again in 2028, and Lord will, we be out of here before 28, man. Like I can't see this place going on for that much longer. All right, the way things are going, Lord will, we be out of here next year. Out of one Ratazar. Top scientists warn infant V schedule causes 19 different diseases. And that's why you wonder why a lot of children be coming down with Down syndrome and Asperger's and immune problems and things, because all these damn shots that they be giving your children when they come out the womb. All right, injecting all type of stuff within them, diseases and viruses. So they like, listen, man, you don't need no damn V. Okay, the Most High created our bodies to where the body can heal and repair itself. You see, everything that we need to fight off disease is within us, and then on top of that, you got herbs and things of that nature that can boost the body's immune response. All right, but that's Esau trying to play the Most High, and that's why you got a whole generation of youth that's all messed up, man, because of all this stuff that's getting put in them, right? Like when your kids go back to school, you know what I'm saying, like they have to get certain shots and things of that nature. So yeah, we gotta get the hell out of here, man. Candace Owens, Elon Musk, and Peter Thiel are demonic hybrids disguised as humans. Man, UK migrant who raped a child to near death released early from prison. Leaked CIA files reveal extraterrestrial race living on dark side of the moon. And see all these things that are, because Esau told you for years, right, that aliens don't exist and you're a bug out if you believe in it, blah blah blah. But what I'm saying, now apparently he got top secret files that he just releasing to the public now. No, he's doing this because he wants the narrative to go out there, all right, because he's gonna stage a false alien invasion. So that's that Project Bluebeam, man. All right, so he's been releasing all this so-called evidence of aliens and things of that nature, which we know ain't no goddamn aliens. Okay, you have the angels and you got the chariots of Yahweh Bashmel Shai, which would you refer to as the so-called UFOs or the UAPs, right? Those are the chariots of Yahweh Bashmel Shai. But he's putting this false narrative out there so people buy into it and say, "Oh, aliens are real. They live on the dark side of the moon. They're flying around and all of this and that," right? So when they do the Project Bluebeam, people are gonna believe and buy into it. All right, and they're gonna be justified in waging war against Yahweh Shai in the hosts of heaven once they return. Okay, and that's why Yahweh Shai told the disciples in Matthew 24, the first thing he said when they asked him of what signs they should look forward to in the last days, the first thing he said was, "Take heed that no man deceive you." All right, because there's a lot of deception and false narratives going out in these last days that you got to be privy about. FBI forcing Charlie Kirk witnesses to delete cell phone footage that contradicts official narrative. See, so you already should have known that with that whole Captain Kirk thing that something wasn't right, man. But there you have it. A united Ireland could strengthen Russia and China ex-NATO command. So yeah, goddamn boy, yeah, we gotta get the hell out of here, man. Top general says France must be ready for war with Russia within 4 years. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. We went for an hour and 20 minutes, But this is what you have going on within the world, man. Crazy, crazy times, So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash. Call Halal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, Shalom to the elect. Kom Yasha'Allah. our Bible Ball. Shalom.